This episode is brought to you by the Marine Corps Association and Foundation.
Libraries are the quintessential third space, offering a haven for individuals to gather, find answers, and connect without the pressures of home or work. The Department of Defense libraries, with over 340 locations worldwide, exemplify this by providing diverse services tailored to their unique communities. Join us in celebrating Military Libraries Week from November 10 through 16.
Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, this is episode 171. This week, we welcome Jeremiah Workman back to the show. Jeremiah is a veteran of Operation Phantom Fury / Al-Fajr, also known as the Second Battle of Fallujah. He is a Navy Cross recipient and author of the book Shadow of the Sword. You can hear all about his story in episode 61. Jeremiah happened to be in town for the opening of the National Museum of the Marine Corps' fantastic OIF/OEF exhibit, so we were so fortunate to be able to get him in studio. Jeremiah talks about his experiences in Fallujah, his thoughts on the battle 20 years later, and how he feels the battle has impacted the Marine Corps and current and future Marines. His humility is infectious, and his account of the battle is as enlightening as it is sincere. This is a very special episode, and we are truly honored that he was willing to share the details of his story with us. We hope you find it as informative as you do engaging. Here is episode 171. Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your continued support. Unfortunately, I am still Vic. I'm here with Nancy.
Hi, everyone.
And we are really excited to be welcoming Jeremiah Workman back to the show. Hey,
Hello.
Thanks for being
Thanks
here.
for having me.
Yeah, this is in studio. It's really exciting. This will be coming out. If you're listening to this, you're probably in the middle of November. But we are on a Saturday here because Jeremiah is in town for the opening of the Marine Corps Museum's OIF/OEF exhibit. So I'm so thankful that you took the time with your busy schedule, your travels, to take some time on a Saturday afternoon to come in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is really great. So for those who've been living under a rock, Jeremiah is a veteran Marine, Navy Cross recipient, and hardcore infantryman, hoorah, hoorah.
Right.
And was running for lieutenant governor as well in Ohio. So a ton of experience, and clearly someone who continues to answer the call of service, and especially in this current climate, continues to run towards the sound of chaos.
Definitely chaos.
Yeah. So just really quick, if you could just sort of give us the super short or just as long as you want, but just tell us a little bit about who you are for those who missed the first episode. Obviously author of memoir.
Right. So Jeremiah Workman grew up in Richwood, Ohio, and at the tender age of 17, decided I wanted to go join the Marine Corps and see the world and do all those fun things, and ended up in the Second Battle of Fallujah with 3-5, and it's just I'm glad that I got the opportunity to go to Fallujah. We're coming up on the 20-year anniversary, which I'm still trying to wrap my arms around that. But just my life, I feel like, has been, since I left the Marine Corps, is just still trying to inspire and still trying to motivate and just be a patriot to those that that want to be inspired and want to be motivated, and whether it's politics, community service, whether staying busy, and just glad to be here. Still vertical, still kicking.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
So,
We're glad to have you, and I'm just sort of from a humanity standpoint, so
Right.
glad that you are still answering that call, because you are a rare breed, brother.
Absolutely.
Like there's not a lot like you out there. And we talked a little bit in the pre-show about the burdens that come with that. But clearly you felt a need to serve, felt that you wanted. You were leaning towards significance, wanted your actions to mean something and to be there to help others. So tell us a little bit. You mentioned the 20th anniversary of the Battle of Fallujah, Second Battle of Fallujah. Can you just sort of walk the dog with this then? So we're talking a little bit about some of your experiences checking into 3-5. Like, so here you are, Corporal Workman walking in. Walk us
Yeah,
through
so
that.
I'm checking into my alphas. I've got my orders bag with me still, like a good corporal.
This is 2004, right?
2004, San Mateo up at Camp Pendleton.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'd spent 2 years at Kings Bay Security Forces prior to getting out to the West Coast, so that was a shock in itself. Was going from security forces to the Fleet Marine Force to the actual infantry.
Mm-hmm.
You served with Jason Dunham there.
With Jason
yeah.
Dunham, yeah. Which, yeah, man, I still stay in touch with Deb and Dan and his siblings, and I'm just glad I had the opportunity to serve with such an amazing person. It's just even at a young age. We were kids back then.
Sure.
We were 18 years old, PFCs, Lance Corporals, but just having the opportunity, well before any of us ever deployed, it was very obvious that Jason Dunham was the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Just somebody that everybody looked up to, somebody that everybody respected. And so it does not surprise me that Jason Dunham went on to do what he did.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Getting back to checking in at 3-5 out there, I was kind of, I got to Camp Pendleton. I was looking for 3-5, and I'm driving all over Mainside, back and forth on Rattlesnake Canyon Drive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't see 3-5 anywhere. So finally I go to the main PX there on Mainside, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, do you know where 3-5's at?
Yeah, which is practically a different zip code, right?
So Jess and I have already gotten our apartment down in Oceanside. We have no idea what any of this is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The guy goes, get on Basilone Road and just drive until you can't drive any further, really, on base. And I'm like, he goes, it's about 45 minutes. I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
So
you literally end up in a different county.
Yeah, you come out in Orange County.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So here I'm living in Oceanside, commuting basically to San Clemente every day for work. And but you know what? We got there, and I got assigned to 81's platoon. I was pretty stoked about that to begin with. And started meeting some of the staff, my platoon commander, platoon sergeant, Brian Shantosh, Captain Shantosh at the time. I've got some good stories about him.
Yes, you do.
Definitely a motivator.
For off the air.
Great guy, great leader. Knows how to get his Marines going.
Sure.
They'll do anything for him. But, what I always tell people about that second battle of Fallujah is I sat on my couch in Oceanside and watched the first battle on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And that part was really weird to me because when I got the security forces when OIF-1 had kicked off.
Yeah. So
we all thought we were going to be standing in a guard tower or working some sort of vehicle ECP and miss everything.
Yeah.
It's a 2-year tour. We didn't know it was going to go on for 20 years, obviously, but we were all itching to get out of there and get out and do real Marine things. And but yeah, I was sitting on my couch watching that first Vigilant Resolve, I believe. And thinking to myself, damn it, I missed. I am going to miss it. I'm missing my opportunity to do what I've been trained to do, and it was like a gut punch. It really was. But we knew we were going somewhere. When I checked in, at the time, Fallujah wasn't. I don't think anybody was really. I mean, the higher ups, I'm sure, were.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So I guess we're talking 2004. So first battle of Fallujah was April. Yeah. You were still at Security Forces Battalion.
No.
Oh, no. So you were in Oceanside now.
I checked in April.
Okay.
Yep, April of 2004.
Wow. No shit.
I'm watching this unfold on TV.
Yeah. Knowing you're in the shoot.
going somewhere.
Yeah, right.
But but like I said, we didn't know we were going to Fallujah. I didn't find out we were going to Fallujah till probably 3 or 4 weeks before we left.
Oh, no
It was
kidding.
pretty secretive.
Yeah. Okay.
And then even once we found out we were going to Fallujah, we didn't know there was going to be a second battle of
You
Fallujah.
figure
Right,
everything,
because
the action was over.
Over.
And then just referencing back to Jason Dunham, so there were a lot of units out in the sort of the periphery of Fallujah and the
Right.
Hinters really getting some. Like obviously there was what's that city that's there on the border?
Hit.
Al-Qaim.
Al-Qaim.
Al-Qaim. There's obviously Husayba, which
yeah.
was clearly where Jason Dunham was. There was everything in Sadr City was going down with the army.
Yeah, up north. The army was fighting up north and
Mosul, right?
Mosul.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole place was just a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So it was like, pick your poison almost. But we did, we got to Fallujah, and it was one thing that I will never forget. And, we're going back 20 years now almost, and the day that our we convoyed from TQ.
Okay.
Over to Camp Fallujah.
Mm-hmm.
As we were going through the gate of Camp Fallujah is when the rockets came over our convoy, and those are the rockets that hit the MEF CP and killed I believe the communications that Major I'm drawing a blank, but the regimental commander was wounded.
Yeah.
Colonel Nicholson at the time. That was the day we got there. And,
jeez.
It was like, wow.
And you're in 19 at this point? 18, 19?
Yeah. 20 at the
20.
most.
Yeah.
So, and I this is going to sound really weird, but growing up as a little kid, I'm watching Hamburger Hill and all these movies from Vietnam, and I thought that was kind of, what combat was. I didn't know what to expect, but on day one, when you see the rockets flying over your convoy,
literally as you're going through the ECP.
As you're going through the ECP, you're like, this is real.
You guys still have you aren't combat stripped down yet. Like you still had the full Molly with all your sustainment stuff.
We're
insane.
I laugh. We back then, all the Humvees, it looked like
the up armored. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they had sandbags in the floorboards, just pieces of Kevlar hanging on the outside.
Yeah, you pumping around with MRAPs and JLTVs and all that.
I never saw an MRAP till I went back with Sergeant Major Kent.
Yeah,
it was the first time I saw an MRAP in action. We didn't even have Blue Force tracker in our vehicles.
Oh my God!
I mean, this.
Yeah, dude, that is gnarly.
Yeah.
So, so this now your boots on the ground in what?
September.
Yeah, is the rotation timeline?
10th maybe.
So I mean, yeah, you're like what, less than 60 days out from the fight.
And we get there, we get settled in. They ended up. Kind of our base camp was Bahria across the street from Camp Fallujah there. And we were just running snap ECPs out on Route Mobile, and just filling a lot of sandbags and doing all the things.
Yeah, but it's mostly local security stuff.
Yeah. And still to this point, there was no chatter of a second battle of Fallujah, and we're in Fallujah.
And so you're still thinking to yourself, you missed your opportunity, and you're just.
I thought I was going to be searching vehicles for 7 months.
So you guys weren't seeing a lot of enemy activity at this point.
No, not at this point. And it was really, Fallujah at the time when I got there, because Vigilant Resolve in April had just kind of finished up.
Yep.
Fallujah, it was like taboo. When you were on Route Mobile, you could see the city there at the Cloverleaf.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, ooh, there's some bad things happening in there, but we're not allowed to go in. And it was like, man, you just always wondered, like, are we
Is this-
ever going to go in
right,
there?
right,
Like,
Yeah.
right.
because if we do, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Like, you could just see from the, that it was going to be a disaster. But
Yeah, I remember, and this is different, but in a way that I relate to it was hearing stories. So this is, much, much later, but we were in this area called Abu Hayat, and I remember telling people, well, before we actually we went wheels up, like where we were going, and they're like, and these are Haditha vets.
right,
They're like, we were told you weren't allowed to go into that area unless you're like a company size or bigger, like,
right,
and you're going in there like distributed ops,
yeah,
like, good luck, brother.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So I can only imagine as you're driving by Fallujah being like, that's some bad shit in there.
yeah, and it was we were starting to hear stories about torture chambers. We were
Ugh.
starting to hear all the nasty.
Were they
Wow.
beheading the imams and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but I do remember when my platoon commander, Al Butler, great man, came to the squad leaders and said, "Hey, this is what's going on."
And when was that? Was that then October?
This would have been probably the end of October.
Okay.
We only had about, I'm going to say 5 days.
No kidding.
7 at the,
So yeah, this is interesting. So just for context, I was riding a chair in recruiting duty in Atlanta when all this was going down. In a very similar way, when I left Iraq, it was like, dude, we're gonna be like the only guys with combat action ribbons, man. This shit was
right.
And there were obviously a lot of red flags going up, namely like disarming the Sunnis.
Right.
We're like, this could get really ugly quick, but I really had a lot of faith that we were going to negotiate a ceasefire and integrate folks back in. Obviously none of those things happened. So as I'm on recruiting duty and watching all this stuff unfold, and still trying to like get people to sign up to join the Marine Corps. But the way I understood it is that they cordoned off the city, right, and started dropping pamphlets. Was it really just 5 days of that, or was there more than
There, you know what?
shaping operations going on?
I tell people I had my corporal blinders on.
Yeah.
I do know that the pamphlets were dropped. I don't know, the timeline. But I just remember, at the time, Lieutenant Butler saying, "Hey, this is what's happening.
Crap.
We're going to start bringing everybody's going to have X amount of magazines, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
food, water, MREs, you name it." And I remember the day we actually staged it at Camp Bahria there across from Camp Fallujah. And I thought it was kind of like being in a movie.
Yeah.
There were long lines of tracks. I can't remember if there were any tanks, but 7 tons, Humvees, and just
pre-stage,
ready to roll out. And I think we rolled out at like 2,200 that night.
Mm-hmm.
But people were playing like "Welcome to the Jungle" and like
Appropriate song.
Marines.
It was like, it was a moment.
Yeah.
To soak all this in, to see how the Marines were acting, because I always thought I was pretty mature for my age, even though I was a young guy.
Yeah.
I took it very serious. But I pay attention to people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just trying to get a gauge on where the Marines were at, but everybody was in good spirits. Everybody was ready to go. And it literally, I remember the battalion commander, he stood in front of each chalk. Each chalk was probably like a quarter mile long.
God.
And he just stood in front of each chalk and he went, and they took off. And that's how we rolled out on the mobile and got on the north side of Fallujah. Wasn't long after the bombs dropped on the railroad tracks, and off we go.
No way. So you guys didn't even have an assault position. You just rolled from your fob.
Yeah, we rolled down Route Mobile,
Crap.
off Mobile into the desert. There was a little cemetery out there that we were kind of hanging out in.
And so was it pretty quiet?
Quiet.
No way. So there wasn't like this thing where like days long IDF campaign or anything.
No, and go figure. The day that we get out there, it starts raining. I haven't seen one drop of rain
seriously
since I've been in country, and it just starts raining. And when you're shooting mortars, 81 millimeter mortars in the mud, I mean, it turns into a giant mud pit.
Yeah. Man.
Excuse me. And I mean, that I remember specifically those bombs hitting the railroad tracks and seeing the Marines come over the tracks into the city. And I just thought, here we go. Like, and I'm a mortarman. I'm not, I guess I didn't think I would be kicking doors down. I thought I would be out in that cemetery dropping HEDP on targets in the city. But, as the mission evolved and as it went on,
you did what
you
you had
to
do.
Got to do.
Yeah.
So there wasn't like this sort of Hollywood-esque like briefing, like you file everybody into an auditorium and there's like some like crusty ass dude pointing to a board.
Nope.
No, none of that shit.
No, it was.
Hey, gents, here's what we're gonna do. Get to your vehicles.
I mean, it was basically get to your vehicles, Semper Fidelis, let God sort them out.
Oh my
basically,
God.
Wow.
That is so gnarly. And then were you given any like specific, like as a mortarman in particular, given specific like, hey, here's our sort of named areas of interest. Here's our, you've got, like target 1, target 2, or were you just there receiving 9 lines?
Yeah. So as a squad leader on the gun, the FDC may have had designated targets going on and things, but being out on the gun, I was just, it was one fire mission after another. And just after we would, I mean, you're talking 6, 7 guns, just lobbing 15, 20 rounds of HEDP on a target. I would run to the back of the FDC's Humvee so I could hear the BDR.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, the FO's out there watching this. And I mean, they're like, there are people flying out of the window of the house you guys just hit.
Wow.
Like, and it just, as weird as that sounds, that's our job.
Yeah, you were accomplishing a mission.
Right. It was like, so I go back to the gun line. I'm like,
keep it going.
Feed it. Just keep. We're going to rid the world of evil.
Yeah.
Right.
Jeez. And so then what were like sort of your like displacement orders? Because you guys weren't taking any fire, right? Like it was a pretty secure fire position.
Yeah, where we were at, it was, I still remember guys walking around smoking cigarettes at night, out there on the north side of the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
We did, at night we would, and this is one thing that was very interesting is, we dig our mortar pits and we got everything going. We're dropping rounds. They would put a couple guns on, put a couple guns down to just get even if it was 20, 30 minutes of sleep. But I remember laying there staring up at the sky, and it was the most beautiful thing that I think I'd ever seen up to that point in my life.
The sky itself?
The stars, it was so beautiful. It was so clear. And in front of me
it was just hell.
is a hell, hellscape. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is a lot for a kid from Ohio to take in. It's a lot for anybody to take.
What a contrast.
And you've been with the unit now for like 90 days.
Right. Yeah. So, but I just remember laying there thinking, my God, this is, what a shame that this is going on here, because it's like the one thing in the initial kickoff of the battle that I could like kind of hold on to was, I was just watching the stars and, the heaven, just praying.
What were you guys? Were you briefed up at all on sort of like enemy disposition composition sort of thing?
No, not until I feel like we were kind of not left in the dark, but the line companies were the ones going over the railroad tracks and actually you know kicking the doors down and doing all that stuff for the first couple of days. And we're out there in this mud pit starting, you're like, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but it's like, we want to get in there too. We want to go into the city.
So you were hearing about what was going on in the city.
Yeah, it was.
Well, because, and I guess for our listeners who aren't aware, so when you have, well, he's referencing the FDC, the Fire Direction Center.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you have to have observers. Like we don't just fire sort of indiscriminately. That's
Right.
the FO, the forward observer.
Yeah.
And so he has to be able to see the effects, or at least have situational awareness of the effects, because
how you measure
how you measure success, but also too, you don't want to waste a bunch of rounds just
right.
fucking. So it's more than just them calling in their 10-digit grids for the fire missions. You also have to have someone there, and obviously the gun line, they're so focused on. Yeah,
and it was the first time. This is no shit. We had we dropped a round and it didn't go off. Like, you practice this at 29 Palms.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the chances that we've actually? So it's like, okay, we got to go back to our SOI days and remember how to do this.
Right.
And it's a 3-man operation. You got one guy lifting the back of the mortar tube. I'm standing there coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And you got a guy at the end of it
trying to catching
this round that didn't go off.
Oh, man.
So as he's lifting the back of the tube, you hear the round start sliding, and he says sliding, 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 sliding. He catches it. He has this round in his hand. And I'm like, do we have somewhere to put it now? Like, you just...
Yeah.
It's like, shit happens when...
Wow.
But yeah, the only time it happened, during the Battle of Fallujah.
Golly.
So, yeah.
That's wild, man. That is wild. So obviously, as a Navy cross recipient, you did displace. What was sort of did the FLOT sort of extend your reach, and so you guys had to find a new position, or was it like, this is a fucking meat grinder, get everybody inside?
So, from what I understand, when everybody came over the railroad tracks, and it was like a squeegee from north to south, house to house.
Oh, by the way, so you guys, in the grand scheme of it, you were in the south side then?
North.
Oh, you were north.
Yep.
Okay.
North, just south of it. When we did end up crossing over, we were in Jolan.
Okay.
The Jolan district of Fallujah. So
you started north, sweeping east to west?
So when we came out, set up, and just came south.
South, okay.
Yeah.
And so the idea was we were going to sandwich Fallujah.
And I believe there were some Army units, David Bellavia, who received the Medal of Honor. I believe his unit, and I forget which unit it was, but yeah, there was, they were catching people trying to escape.
Right.
Towards Baghdad, I think.
And there were Brits in there too, right?
Yep. But yeah, the day comes when they notice that the 81 millimeter mortar platoon from 3-5 could probably be utilized in a different manner. And that day came, and our battalion XO.
I'm sorry, just for context, how long were you in that firing position? Do you remember?
I'm going to guess about 5 days.
5 days, okay.
Yeah. So when they did move us into the city, we still weren't going house to house. We were more doing logistics runs for folks.
So you guys just put the tubes away.
Yeah, because we had the Humvees, and we were you're familiar with the Lioness program?
Yep,
that
yep, yep.
We would, part of our daily gig was we would get up, take the female Marines to different posts throughout the city, pick them up when they're
Yeah, yeah.
But Major DeGrossier, I don't know if you know Colonel DeGrossier. He was our battalion XO, and they were starting a new operation called Operation Bruno, and it was and this was in December. Still fighting going on, but really at this point in the game, they wanted us to come from the north side, just like a squeegee again, house to house, getting all leftover weapons, ammo, because once they let the civilian populace back into the city, they don't.
Yeah.
So that's how it all started. We started going house to house on what we thought were just going to be a bunch of empty houses, and we were going to be filling up 7 tons with rifles and ammunition. And that's just kind of
And you
how it all.
realized there was another hornet's nest.
Yeah, and there were pockets. There were, and that's exactly what happened to us. It was a day just like today. It was, if you can say there's nice weather in Fallujah, Iraq. That was the
that
one.
time period actually
It
is.
actually, yeah. I mean,
right before you get to the very cold.
Yep.
And there's 2, and then they're right before you get to the very hot.
Yep.
So yeah, November, December is nice, and then April, May is nice.
Yeah, and it was one of those days. The sun was shining. We got our orders in the morning.
Again, the contrast, like you were talking about, the beautiful night.
Oh yeah, that morning, when we pulled out the map and we would just do blocks. Fallujah was broken up into a bunch of sectors, and they're like, Workman, you and your guys are going to do 20 through 24 today, and it literally, house to house, go in the house. You're expecting the house to be empty, and when we would come out, we would put another spray painted X on the outside just so we wouldn't.
Sure.
Yep.
Weren't doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, we stumbled into a house that apparently they were having a meeting with high value targets in there, or high ranking personnel, and it turned into a hornet's nest. And I was actually across the street when I heard the shots ring out, and that is a moment that I will never forget. Is when you hear an AK-47 open up, because you hear M4s and all that stuff going off, but it's when you hear that AR or that AK-47 that they're not goofing off.
Right. Yeah.
So my heart sank as low in my body as I think it can, and I grabbed the Marines that were with me, and we ran across the street. And as soon as we came out of the courtyard with the 15-foot concrete cinder block fence around it, and I could see what the hell was going on, I realized that it was a hornet's nest. So that was a conscious decision. You see rounds coming out of the house. You see everything going on at 100 miles an hour. My life at that time slowed down. I feel like to 10 miles an hour.
It's a weird thing, right?
And I'm seeing guys yell. I'm seeing people flailing their arms and fog of war, maybe. I don't know. But once it kind of hit me and it started to speed up the real time, I was like, shit, you got to do something. You can't stand here.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
So that's when it just...
Yeah, I remember thinking and this is a very strange, but the first time was I would really like a few moments so that and I'm not saying this in a joking manner, to not shit my pants.
Right.
I just want to make sure I'm not going to shit my pants right now.
Absolutely.
So can I just get a couple seconds?
And if anybody tells you that they weren't thinking that, they're full of shit. I'm guessing. But, it's... I made this decision that I grabbed these guys. We're going into this house, and nobody wants to go first. Who wants to go first into a house when you know?
Yeah, when you know there's people shooting at you. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know why, how. I mustered up the courage,
Courage.
but I was like, we can't stand outside
Yeah.
of here and let our Marines get.
Yeah.
So I just ran in the damn place, and you come in, your eyes look like saucer,
Yeah.
they're this big around. And you're just trying to assess what's going on, and it was very obvious that everything was taking place on the second and third stories of the house. So we did clear the first floor quickly just to ensure we weren't going to get hit from behind going up the stairs. But yeah, it turned into a 3-hour slugfest in there, and we lost 3 Marines that day in that house. And people ask all the time, well, why were you in there for 3 hours? Well, you hear it in movies, you hear people talk about it, but we're not going to leave anybody behind. And I can't explain to you. It's not a saying that it's not taken lightly. We're not leaving anybody here. I don't care what we got to do. We're going to get these people home to their families so they can have the proper,
Yeah.
And we fought till we could get them out. And then at that point is when we called in airstrikes, and the battalion commander at that point was on scene, and they leveled the entire block. Because at that point, the insurgents we didn't know were jumping from the house next door into the house we were in. Because that was one of the. I kept asking myself as I was fighting in this house, where in the hell are all these people coming from? I mean, it was almost like a video game, like when you kill the bad guy, but another one they just keep coming,
respawning.
And I'm like, what the hell is going? So when you're in a house like that, you're like, you see.
Yeah, and I guess just for our listeners, when we talk about a house, you have to not think about sort of the Western American suburban sort of place. Like you're talking about a
concrete fortress.
Yeah,
and I mean,
it's not slinch was the word I'm looking for, but it's cubed.
Yeah,
there's a lot of hard edges. We're not talking about nice, smooth, sort of aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, no, I mean, you're talking about a concrete structure that is essentially just a tall.
It's a fortress, really. I mean, it's
a
perfect fighting position. Their houses,
3-dimensional rectangle.
Yeah, and we happened to be this sector of Fallujah that we were in that day was, I guess, considered the wealthy section. So the houses were bigger, the houses were nicer. And the only way I can describe it is that this thing was a fortress. They had everything in there. They had their weapons, their ammo, probably food, you name it.
Yeah.
But they were waiting on us. And sometimes the psychological part of it, I ended up going to school and getting my degree in psychology, but I always think about this. At 41, I think about things now a little differently than I did when I was there at 20. Sometimes I wonder what was going through those insurgents' minds when they knew, first of all, their spotter saw us coming down the street, so they were prepared for us to come in. But they were lying in closets and under beds and everything else waiting. But could you imagine being in that closet knowing that there's 7 or 8 U.S. Marines coming in the front door of that house and one of us isn't going home?
Well, what about the second and third waves that were coming at you too? Like, because clearly you guys were not going to concede that location.
No.
So, what the hell was going through their minds I'm going to go, like, I just saw all those guys go in there. They're not coming out. I'm supposed to now go in there?
Yeah, I think any time one of these insurgents ever found out what it was like to get into a fight with a Marine over there, that they realized that one of us is leaving here in a body bag. And hopefully, and most of the time it was them.
I'm about to say, if you just look at the statistics,
most of the time it was them. And I call it taking the trash out, man. I hate to sound so like nonchalant about it, but at that moment in time, when these psycho, just you name it, they're hopped up on drugs. And it was like once you take a Marine's life, one of our Marines, it's
Yeah.
like no, hell no.
Yeah, yeah.
Now somebody's gonna pay.
Well, I mean, and that's why shortly after this, there was Al-Sahwa. Like, the sheikhs were like, we, one, are not equipped to handle this Marine problem.
Right.
But also, the foreign fighters that are coming in are killing Iraqis.
Right.
So what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
And so that's when they came to the table with us and were like, this is Iraq for Iraqis. You guys have said you're going to leave. These guys said they're not leaving.
Right.
So we're going to get them out. Let's do this together.
Right.
But it was because of the stuff that you guys did in Fallujah and in part Ramadi as well, where it was like, this is not something we can win.
Yeah.
Or
And
that from the insurgent
right.
standpoint.
And
we clearly were like,
what was really cool was later on, U.S. forces intercepting communication between the insurgents and their different fighting positions.
mhm.
Don't know if you ever seen the transcripts of some of
No.
these.
No.
Pretty amazing.
Really?
So something to the effect of they called us Blue Diamond. The insurgents knew the difference between the Army and the Marines. Blue Diamond for 1st Marine
Right,
Division.
right.
Yep.
They knew the difference. And in these specific transcripts, the insurgent is on the radio or the cell phone or whatever saying there are Blue Diamonds everywhere. And they're literally, their boss or whoever's telling them, well, fight. You're going to fight. And he's like, there's no, we can't.
They're the ones shitting their pants.
They're shitting
Yeah.
their pants.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just.
So I guess how much longer then were you guys in the city? So obviously it's house to house, it's block by block. This is a December. You were there for maybe a week or two, and then
Yeah, so December 23rd is the day that all this stuff happened.
Mhm.
And if you look up, I think most historians consider the 23rd the official kind of
No
last
kidding.
day of
Last
the
day.
Second Battle of Fallujah.
jeez.
So after that fight, we went back to our little apartment complex that we were staying in, just kind of out there by the train station.
Mhm.
And we did. Well, they opened the city back up to the civilians.
Right.
So we were doing a lot of ECP work, checking civilians coming back into the city, getting ready for that big vote.
Yeah,
the
election,
The
yeah.
election. And
Were you guys working with a lot of Iraqis at this point, or
we were,
okay.
yeah. Which,
a
man,
mixed bag there? Huh?
you know how it is. It's
Yeah.
like, this guy is shaking my hand right now, but when the sun goes down, there's a good chance he's going to try to kill me.
Well, because you guys
Like-
heard about all the shit going on after the first battle, I'm sure,
Yeah.
where like an entire brigade like turned
Turned
into
on.
yeah.
And these guys, I remember Route Golden is kind of where we were at from Fallujah to Sacklawea. There was a little apartment complex, and that's where we kind of laid our heads at night. And I forget what they called this group of Iraqi, like, special forces,
Mhm.
Shawnees, I think they called them. These guys would show up from Fallujah out there to our paws with coolers full of, like, goat meat and rice and bread. And they were always trying to give it to the Marines. And I would tell these guys, I'm like, don't eat that shit. How the hell do you know? I mean,
Yeah.
are they going to kill it? Are they going to poison us?
Yeah.
At this point, I didn't trust anybody.
Mhm,
Unless
mhm.
you had an eagle globe and anchor on your chest,
Yeah.
I wasn't trusting anybody. But, yeah, like I said, ECP work, a lot of snap ECPs on mobile, trying to catch vehicle-borne IEDs, things like that. But, yeah, it was, we did one more little op going into Sacklawea, because I guess what they ended up figuring out is a lot of the big players of Fallujah would come do their dirty work in Fallujah during the day and then go home at night to Sacagawea.
Mm.
So we rolled down Sacagawea just like we did in the Fallujah one night, and thank God there was nothing.
Okay.
You know, it was calm, but I'm sure they heard us coming 5 miles. I mean, hell, it was so loud.
Yeah, I
you know,
think
all that armor rolling down the road.
And that was sort of the template from here on out, was this. They had a lot of, obviously, observation. It's their country. And so unless you really caught them with their pants down,
Right.
they were bouncing around
Prepared,
all over.
yeah.
And so one of our main missions was to cut off the Wadi system.
Right.
Because folks from KV were going up the Mosul through Wadi Haran.
Right.
And so we were right in the middle there. Anyhow, this is so fascinating. I guess one last sort of reflection from my standpoint, and then I'll hand the microphone over. But was there ever a moment, I guess, as you guys were wrapping up doing AARs and all that stuff, where you got to see sort of where you fit into the overall campaign, or was there any idea, or was it just like that shit's over, that's in the past, let's now, what's the next mission ahead?
Yeah, I do remember a Marine Corps historian showing up out there.
Wasn't Lieutenant Colonel Kelly by any chance, was it?
I don't remember.
He's writing a book about this, and
Really?
he has a bunch of stuff. So he was one of the guys who came.
So apparently our mortar platoon from 3-5, and this came from whoever's mouth.
Right.
That we had fired more 81 mortar rounds than any platoon since Chosin Reservoir.
No
is what I heard.
Wow.
My God.
So I got to look into that.
Yeah.
But I know that it was there for a while. It was busy.
Yeah.
So.
Man, thank you so much for sharing that.
Well, so it's 20 years,
Yeah.
and that's a significant number. And we're not the only people who have asked you to come and talk about looking back 20 years ago. What is that like to think about those days again?
I find myself, I'm at a point in my life, I do a lot of reflecting. When I'm not a taxi driver for my kid, but I do find myself doing a lot of, I call it daydreaming or just reflecting.
Yeah.
But one, if I could bring back those Marines that we lost, obviously I would do anything humanly possible to bring them back. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about them. And they inspire me every day. When I get up and I look in the mirror, I'm living to keep their memories alive. And so, like, at an event like tonight, when I'm wearing that Navy Cross, it gives me a license to tell their story.
That's beautifully said.
But it's 20 years, and it's hard to believe. One, I'm glad I'm still vertical. I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
I'm glad my kids have a father, and I'm here for my wife and friends and family. But it's just, that was a moment in history that brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
But it also caused a lot of grief and heartache and turmoil for a lot of people. I still don't know totally how I feel about it. Every day when I'm driving around, just coming in today, I'm thinking about different things like, what if this or what if that would have happened? Would they be alive? You're just constantly kind of replaying scenarios in your head.
Yeah.
And it's 20 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still doing this. It's gotten a lot better. It's gotten better for me. It's gotten better for my family. But like I just said, every day when I look in the mirror and I'm getting ready, I think about those Marines and the sacrifices they made and the sacrifices that so many people made. The families back home, a lot of probably, to include myself, when a lot of people came home, we weren't the same.
Yeah.
We struggled. The struggle, I don't think it ever really goes away. You just figure out how to
manage it better,
manage it, and get ahead of it, and take care of your business. But every day for like the last month, I guess, to kind of circle around and answer your question, I think of something different. Whether it was the first time that I met Sergeant Major Kent at Camp Fallujah when we brought our 3 Marines that were killed to the morgue there at Camp Fallujah, and he was there, and he met every Marine that was killed in that battle. He was there, and he saw he.
Wow.
But I remember him giving, he hugged all of us, and he told us, keep your head up. But it's tough.
Yeah, I can't.
And the fact that we're 20 years removed from it, I still feel like a young man.
Yeah.
Like, I still feel like I have a lot of fire, passion to serve. Shit, I see Iran launching missiles into Israel, and I'm like, oh, hell, I could go over there and pull a trigger, or I can do something.
I was going to ask you that,
You know,
if
like,
watching the news, if that...
It just irritates the hell out of me. I mean, Iran, let's be honest, they're a menace to the world. And they will continue to be a menace to the world until we annihilate them. And until the people that make the decisions understand that,
Well, it's also like, not to take this down too big of a rabbit hole, but we all, obviously, the sacrifice of 20 years of war, most of those obviously in Iraq and Afghanistan, but they also sacrificed and suffered. And so to allow this to happen, I hate to say like on their watch, but like, don't forget your sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, you made it out. Like, fucking congratulations. You made it out. Like, you are an ally now of the United States. You have a legitimized, like, you fought ISIS after you've suffered. Right. You are now our ally. We're partners in this fight. Like, don't just watch the shit happen. I don't understand.
You got to keep up your
You're
end
just
of
gonna
the deal,
give
man.
it up.
Like,
you just did generations of war, and you're just gonna give it up.
And I think that's just what they do, though. I think that when you've been a war for your entire existence, essentially.
Yeah. That's all you know.
I mean, it's
maybe it's not something we can really understand because we've always gone somewhere else to fight.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
But does watching the news, does it rip that scab off again?
It doesn't, but I'll tell you, it doesn't rip any scab off for me. But what it makes me think about those young seniors in high school that are raising their right hand, and damn, I'm just so incredibly proud of these young people.
Yeah, no, good call.
Because like, you were in Atlanta recruiting during the second battle of Fallujah. The people that came in your door and wanted to join the Marine Corps, they knew where they were going.
It was unavoidable.
How much?
Yeah, it was all over the place.
How much more can you ask of these young people? I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That speaks a lot about the character of. Forget all the bullshit that's going on right now in our country with the divide and everything. But I get asked all the time, "Do you think this generation can hold up there?" People said that same damn thing about my generation.
Yeah. I was a company commander of Marines your age at that time. And
Right.
I've never been more impressed and more proud to be an American
Right.
than to see what 19, 20, 21-year-olds were doing.
And-
When I was their age, I joke, but it's only funny because it's true.
Right.
My biggest dilemma was, do I keep drinking or do I go to class?
Right.
And I'm watching now a 20-year-old take 13 Marines out and say to them, I'm not going to let you die today.
Right.
Fucking A, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's so. Jess and I are pretty involved in our community back home, and I became the commander of the local VFW.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which is great. It's we're really able now to give back to the community and to the kids in the school district and things. But I go out. Here's a good example. Last night at the high school football game, there's like 14 second graders running around playing football,
Yeah.
tag, whatever you want to call it. But there's like 2 kids that are like, you're on my team. It's like
Yeah.
that
Nice.
kid. It warms my heart.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly how, like, when the kindergarten student wants to be the captain on the kickball team, that's leadership.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's something as small as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how
Where
it
it
starts
starts,
for a
yeah.
young person.
Yep.
Some teachers like to call it bossy.
Yeah,
But I agree with you. It's leadership.
it is, and I
Reps and sets, right? That's where you
right,
start the
and
reps
it, and it,
sets.
it just it put a smile on my face. Like, everybody's generation has been told they wouldn't be able to keep up their end of the deal, and I think every generation has proven
Exceeded.
and exceeded and done and kept up our end of the deal.
It's been a different challenge for each generation.
Exactly. You know what? We were just talking at the VFW about World War II folks, and when they left, they didn't know. Hell, they were gone for 4 years
Yeah.
or 5
Yeah.
years. I
That's
mean, you
right.
didn't know if you were coming home, ever,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you were lucky.
Yeah.
And it's like
No email, no
no
phone.
email,
You
no
could write a
phone.
letter.
Yeah, I'm just glad I had the opportunity, to lead Marines, to inspire, hopefully, to just give back to this nation somehow. There's a lot of people out there that I think have their head in the sand. They don't exactly know what's going on in the world, but thank God there are people out there willing to do this type of work, so that we can sit here in this room and talk about it and go to bed at night in peace.
Yeah.
But you know what? I wish I had a better answer for you on.
Dude, I
You
can't
know,
be more authentic
it-
of
it-
an answer.
it's just-
than what you're giving.
It's 20 years. And I feel mentally like I'm on top of my game. Physically, I feel decline.
Mm-hmm.
Just, we're beat up.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, what I wouldn't do to, like, be able to get back into it, Like, I know it's a young man's game, but I'm so passionate, and I'm just.
It's cruel that we have this wisdom as our bodies are falling apart.
Right.
Like, can you imagine
Right.
if you had this kind of wisdom at 21 years
Yeah,
old?
and tonight will be kind of the.
Yeah. Talk about tonight a little bit. You're going to be attending the opening gala.
Yeah, tonight
the
at the
new
Marine Corps
gallery at the
Museum.
museum.
I think tonight will be a test for me.
Yeah.
First of all, there's going to be a lot of people there that I haven't seen in
Yeah, that's right.
15 years,
Yeah.
probably.
That's right.
The commandant, he was a lieutenant colonel when we used to run together when I worked for Sergeant Major Kent.
No shit.
I was a sergeant, he was a lieutenant colonel, and we'd PT together.
Wow.
Now he's the and stuff like that. It's like, damn, I'm getting old.
And it goes in the blink of an eye, doesn't
Just
it?
like that. And here, my son, he's 17. Um, he wants to be a Marine pilot. And my wife is like, I'm like, honey, you can't trample. Not
Right.
that she's trampling, but that is something to be extremely, extremely proud of.
And you can't stifle it.
And you can't stifle. You
Yeah.
can't. You got to let this kid do what he believes is right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he believes in this country. He believes in everything, the moral fight, everything about this country. He believes in it. He knows what's going on in the world, and he still wants to join the Marine Corps. I'm like, wow. Nervous? Absolutely.
Sure.
Especially for mom. But
That's the example you set.
yeah, I hope. Yeah. It's like, I feel like everybody has a couple opportunities in their life to uh, change the course, to improve their situation, whatever,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't see it, so they don't grab it.
Yeah.
Um, the one thing that I can tell you, though, is in the last 20 years, I have tried to live my life to the fullest. The first 7, 8 years were tough, struggled with the PTSD a lot. But I got to tell you, I get up, get dressed, do my thing every day, and think about those Marines and never stop telling their stories.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable saying their names?
Yeah. James Phillips, Eric Hillenberg, Raleigh Smith. These are they're American heroes, but those type of guys and gals are why we're sitting here having this conversation today, why we're free, why
Yeah.
we're able to do what we do. And people say this all the time, but when you've been there and you've danced with the devil, it has a whole different meaning. And I think for me, it's just, I have to live my life to a certain, I can never let these people down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was given an opportunity to live, to have my kids, to have my wife. I have to I have to do the right thing. I have to set the example. And that's just how I've lived my life. You know, Same thing with the book. When the book came out, why did you write the book? Why? You know what? If I can help one person or stop one person
Yeah.
from hurting themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I wrote the book.
Well, and like you said, to tell the stories of the Marines who didn't come back,
Right.
because part of something that I feel really strongly about
Right.
is when you continue to tell people's stories, it honors their memories and it keeps their memories alive.
Keeps their memories alive. It's their families. It's like, that's who I think about when this coming up on 20 years, thinking about the families. It's like, but I know that our country is in good hands. Like I said, we touched on it earlier. This generation that's coming up, I think they're willing, they're able,
Yeah.
and they're going to answer whatever test comes their way.
I think too, we can't lose sight of the significance of remembering, as hard as it is, and for all of its glory, but then for all of its ugliness.
Right.
That there were people though that sacrificed, and we can't ever lose sight of the fact that, and you alluded to this, is that we're here because there were
Yeah.
people that sacrificed so that
Right.
maybe not, hey, so Vic Rubel can have a podcast. No, but so that Americans can continue to flourish and thrive
Right.
and live in, relative safety and
Still
security.
and chase it. They paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could chase our dreams.
Yeah.
Really.
And like we talked about with these generations, like you look down the line, you're doing your PCCs and PCIs, and you look that Marine in the eye, and you're like, you ain't gonna die today.
Mm.
And if this shit goes south, I got your back.
Yeah.
And that's what we can't ever forget is that there
Right.
there are Americans doing that and willing future Marines and future soldiers and future whomever that are willing to do that, to look at that other American and say, I don't care where you came from, I don't care what you believe, I got your back.
Right. Yeah, I guess November 7th, I guess, is the official, that was the start date,
Kickoff,
right?
yeah.
7th. And it's coming up quick, but, it's 20 years, man.
I know.
It's so,
There are Marines serving now who weren't alive
right.
Isn't that crazy?
then.
It's unbelievable.
That's
That I feel like a dinosaur sometimes. And I'm not even that old, but
Yeah.
when you have
yeah, you're
Marines,
not as old as I am.
when you meet Marines and they're like, whew, yeah, we're getting,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jeremiah, man, this has been just so heartfelt. And I'm so thankful for you coming in. This has been really great.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being vulnerable and for sharing.
Yeah, thank you for coming
This is gonna help people.
I hope.
Yeah.
It's raw stuff, and it can be emotional. But you know what? Every day when we wake up, we get to go live our lives and chase our dreams
Yeah.
and take care of our kids and throw the ball, because there were special people
Yeah.
that had our back.
100%.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy your gala tonight.
Yeah.
Enjoy the exhibit tomorrow, and yeah,
Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
and-
let's
Yeah, I
see what you
will.
think,
Yeah,
it's
I'd
really
be lying if I
spectacular.
said I wasn't a little nervous.
You should be. It's
I'm a little
spectacular. The way they did it. I kind of went in. We did the media day thing, so it wasn't fully up and running. But I just was like, it's a museum. What the fuck? It's visceral. They did such a fantastic job. I can't say enough about it.
And I'm just glad I have my family here with
Yeah,
me to go.
that's so great.
to-
That's so
to see it.
special.
And
Yeah, especially your son
yeah,
to see this. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
very special moment for you guys. I think.
special, but with a little bit of nervousness.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely. I 100. I think that is a very rational way
right.
to look at this for sure. Because like I said, I went in thinking, oh, what the fuck? It's just a museum
Right.
exhibit. No, it is not.
Well, I worked there as an active duty Marine, and
You're one of the cast.
I remember
Figures.
walking Vietnam vets off that 46
Mm.
into Quezon,
Mm-hmm.
and them freezing and the tears rolling down their face. I've been there so many times with these guys.
Yeah. No, it's just
So
such a-
tonight, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But
let it happen, man.
if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not fake.
Yeah, no, it's
You know
what I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
Let it happen.
Like,
Yeah, I don't think anyone would
I'm
ever say
real.
that about you.
yeah, that's for sure.
So-
All right, Jeremiah, man, thank you again for
Thank
taking
you.
a Saturday
Thank
to
you.
spend
Yeah,
time
thanks
with
for
us.
having me.
Appreciate it.
The Marine Corps Association is committed to our mission of providing resources for professional military education and esprit de corps. If you like what we're doing, consider donating. There are multiple ways to give, such as our year-end giving. Join our year-end matching gift challenge by donating to the Marine Corps Association by December 31st. Your tax-deductible donation will be tripled, going 3 times as far to fund professional development programs for Marines. Every gift strengthens our Corps. Give today at mca-marines.org/donate-to-MCAF and help shape tomorrow's Marine leaders. Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. You have heard the voices or contributions from Major Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Litchman, William Truding, and our guest. Ty Frazier is the editor, sound engineer, and technical producer. The Marine Corps Association is not an agency of the U.S. government. The opinions expressed in this episode are the personal views of the participants and do not reflect the official position of the United States Marine Corps, the Department of Defense, or the Marine Corps Association.